In the book of mysteries, the teacher, I don't know if he takes him in a cave, but shows him a cloth, which is called the aderet in Hebrew.
Oh.
And the aderet is the word that when we read in the Bible about the mantle. The mantle. When Elijah, we talked about Elijah, we talked about Baal. We're going to get to the mystery of Baal too, the arch of Baal. But what Elijah did is he took his mantle, he had a mantle, and at one point he throws it on Elisha. It just comes on him, and that changes the life of Elisha. That's the calling. Well, we all have an aderet. If you're born again, you have an aderet. You have a mantle that is appointed for you, and it's not like any other mantle because it's the one that
Really?
God has. Absolutely. God has a calling. It's high. It is from the calling of Jesus. I mean, think about this. Think about when Moses went up. Before he went up, he anointed Joshua. He laid hands on Joshua. When Elisha went up, the mantle was the one. He went up, but the mantle fell down.
Yes.
And Elisha picked it up, and now the mantle was on him. When Jesus, Messiah, Yeshua went up, where's the mantle? Well, the mantle was the Spirit that came upon everyone. That was the mantle.
Pentecost.
That's the mantle.
Oh. Wow.
And so the thing is that, it's in that Spirit that we find our calling. And the thing is, see, Messiah is too big. It couldn't go to one person. It couldn't go to a pope, one person. It goes to everyone. His ministry is too big. It can't be passed. It's passed to all of us. So I'm just going to touch on some of the things that are in there. Just a little taste of it. Important things. One is, what about your mantle? One of the things is, when God gave a mantle to someone, and I'm speaking with a calling. For instance, he does it to Isaiah. What does Isaiah say? Woe to me, I'm unworthy, I'm unclean, please, no, I'm not the one. When he does it to Moses, I can't speak, I'm slow of speech. I mean, really, he's slow of speech, and then look what he said. He went on for the rest of the time talking and talking and talking. He wasn't really slow of speech, but that was his excuse. You have it again and again. You have Jeremiah, I'm too young, the mantle's too big, I'm too young. You have Peter, I'm a sinful man, go get away from me, You always have that reaction for people, and that's the true reaction of a humble servant of God. The mantle always is going to seem too big for you. It always does. Whatever our mantle is, and there's a reason, because it's bigger than us. It's like when we were growing up, our parents, and you were a parent, you always buy clothes that are bigger than your kids if they're growing, because they're going to grow into it. So the reason the mantle has to be bigger, so don't get discouraged over that. What it's saying is you are to grow into it. That's who you're to become in the Lord. And when you read in the Bible, it says put on the new self. You know what the word is in Greek? The word says put it on like, it means literally slip into the clothes. Put it on like you put on clothes. In other words, this may not be who I am right here, but it's who I am in God, and so I just have to put it on. You don't earn the mantle. You just receive it. You just accept it. You're not worthy of it, but it makes you worthy. You just have to say, this is what God said it. I am receiving this. This is who I am in Him, and I'm going to live. And if I fall, I'm getting back until I rise to that thing. But we become what that mantle says. It's like the clothes are who you're going to become. But we have to live by who we're going to become. And something, I'll give you one more thing. In the Hebrew, there's a whole thing hidden here, because the reason why I said aderet, because aderet doesn't just mean mantle. Let me tell you what it means. This is about your calling. The aderet in Hebrew, your mantle, it literally means wide. It is so wide. Adir, it comes from the word adir, means it's so large, it is great. God doesn't give any callings that are not great. I mean, we may mess up, but the calling is great. The calling is great, and He doesn't revoke the calling either. So here, it's great. The word from aderet also means excellent. Meaning every single person, I don't care who you are, if you're a child of God, you've got an excellent calling. And the power that God gives is to excel. And to excel what you have done before. Excel who you are to who you are to become. The word aderet also literally means, this is Hebrew, this means mighty and powerful. Mighty and powerful. Not that we are, but the calling God gave us, it makes us powerful in Him. And another thing, adir also means gallant or courageous. Now, most of us don't feel courageous, but look at Gideon, look at all the people of God. None of them felt courageous, but they just said yes to it, and they became courageous. That you have the power to overcome by the mantle God gave you. Without it, no, but with a mantle you can overcome. And another thing aderet means, it means worthy. Now, which is kind of a paradox, because we're not worthy of the calling, but it means worthy. It makes us worthy. It makes us worthy. We become worthy of what we wouldn't become before. And the last thing is two things. The calling, the word for the mantle means adequate. And Paul said, we're not adequate, but in him we're adequate. But he makes us adequate. It means ample, that maybe we don't have the ability. It gives us whatever we're called for. The mantle gives us the ability to do what we're called for. Whatever God has called you for, the anointing will be more than enough, will be ample to do it. We have to trust him, not in ourselves, but from him. And the last thing Aderet means, your calling, your mantle, literally in the Hebrew, it means glorious. What is it? What is your calling? We don't realize what our calling is. We only get glimpses of it. It's glorious. Whatever God has, glorious. It says he has called it, we go from glory to glory. If we will rise to it, so don't be discouraged if you see a gap. That's a good thing. It means, it's as if you were a kid and you get this big thing, say it doesn't fit, I'm discouraged. No, look, that's how big you're going to become under that. Because that's not made who you are. It's fitted to who you're going to become.